Hey everyone, Meet Kevin here. Wanted to talk about fear, uncertainty, doubt, and life, and trying to get ahead in this crazy world we live in. There's so many reasons to be fearful. I mean, think about it. Dollar crisis, war, China, Taiwan. It really reminds me of my childhood and really getting to where I am now. When I was 7, my parents divorced. We lost our home. We had our car repossessed. I went to 7 different schools as a child. No consistency. We had 7 to 11 $20 bills left in the bank account. I know that because I wanted to buy a Bionicle, and I'm like, Dad, it's $20. Come on, man. He's like, dude, I can only buy 7, and then we're at 0. And then we go negative. And I'm like, I'm 7, and I know this isn't good. This guy's 7. That's my guy. He's 7. That's Jack. I hope he never has that experience in his life. But I wanted to take the opportunity to talk about risk and risk in life, whether it's in stocks or real estate or just life. And I thought I'd start a little bit with background. So when it comes to background, I always told myself as a child when we had nothing or very little that no matter what, I could always have a minimum wage job. It's basically a social guarantee, right? That you could always have a minimum wage job and play World of Warcraft. Plenty of really fun video games, and I'll tell you, the times that I played video games, really fun, and not necessarily that bad of a life. Now, maybe not as fulfilling, but then again, depends on your definition of fulfilling, because either you're leveling up at a job, a business, or in video games, you want to feel like you're accomplishing something, and for a lot of my childhood, that was slaying dragons and old school RuneScape or Splinter Cell or Age of Empires, even the days of Red Alert, which was even before that, Counter-Strike, you name it. But I always think to myself, worst case scenario, if I reset, I play video games, minimum wage job. No, obviously, I don't want that. And I haven't played video games for probably about 8 months now, which is wild because I used to play a lot. But I mean, I think back when I was in high school, I was on a set path to be a law enforcement officer or work for the FBI. 20-year pension back then is what our department was offering when I was a volunteer there. I could have started at 19, been retired by 39. In 8 years, I would have been retired with a pension. But instead, I decided, wow, I met a girl in Paris. I'm going to leave Florida, leave the chance to go to a 4-year college here in Florida, go to a community college in California, finish high school in California for a girl. So my risk was I could reset and totally go back to 0. Scary. I had a lot of fear, but I did it anyway. I said, you know what? I'm not going to be afraid because worst case scenario, I'll just start a little later or I'll reset. But resetting in a developed country, as long as you're doing your best, you're full of integrity and you're trying to put one foot in front of the other by doing the right thing for people, you're leaving places better than you found them, you get ahead and you win. That's at least the goal. You don't always win. I've made plenty of mistakes. For example, working at Hollister and manager, let's just say, cut my hours, basically fired me. To in college, not getting the best of grades once I was at UCLA, once I transferred from a community college to nearly quitting, not finishing college, to leaving my restaurant job, a stable restaurant job that I had to become a realtor. There was a lot of fear. And every time I flip-flopped on whatever I was doing, I was grateful I made the decision. Because ultimately, so far at least, it has always ended up leading to something better. That doesn't mean I didn't have setbacks. Always had setbacks in life. Life is literally always about 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes it's like 3 steps back, and then it's like, all right, well, that sucks. Let's get back on the path where we're going 2 forward, 1 back, right? But it was the fear also of being a realtor in 2010 and 11 and realizing, damn, what if there is a double dip recession? Well, what if I buy a house and, basically go into escrow on a house at 20 years old and convince other people to buy a home because it seemed like it was the right time in the market? You could literally borrow 100% and rent out the property for more than what all of your payments were. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense not to buy. So we bought. And we encouraged other people to buy. And there was no double dip. Things ended up working out. And even had they not, well, I would have been back to minimum wage and playing World of Warcraft. But I did the same thing when I became a broker. I took the risk to go on my own, become a broker. Took the risk to make a TV commercial and go out on my own and spend 30% of my net worth on A TV commercial. Airing the TV commercial didn't make me money. Presenting it, listing presentations did. I think it had a positive ROI there, but I flip-flop on airing that on TV because it wasn't profitable. You don't get people make fun of me for flip-flopping, but I'm like, dude, you have to flip-flop. If you're driving and you're in a car with me, well, first of all, you're going to go on a ride if you're on a car ride with me. A joyride. Blue Velvet references. But anyway, if what's in front of you changes on a road that's not mapped, which our lives are not mapped, all we know is there's opportunity, then you have to flip-flop. Don't be bound to something because you said you're going to commit to it. You have the right to change your mind. Look at the world of opportunity we have out here. Look at this. Flip this around. Look out there. Look how much land there is out there. How much opportunity there is out there. There is an abundance of opportunity. And it's never too late to start. If I thought it was too late to start, I would tell Jack, hey man, why bother trying? Right? I mean, think about it. Let me ask him. Hey Jack, do you think you're ever going to run out of opportunities to make money in life?
I don't really know.
You don't really know? My point is, do you think there are always going to be jobs and things available for you to make sure you could succeed in life? Like, will there always be options for that, or do you think there are dead ends and you just might not be able to get ahead? Or do you think you'll always be able to find a way to get ahead?
I think there would be a way to get ahead.
Why do you think that?
Because there's like easy jobs.
Yeah. You want an easy job?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you could always fall back to an easy job, right?
Yeah.
But do you always want to do an easy job, or what kind of jobs do you want to do?
I wanna. I'm thinking about being a YouTuber too.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. So, either way, point being, I always look at life and suggest, okay, hey, if something doesn't work, flip-flop. But no shortage of opportunities. Jack wants to be a YouTuber? Try it. If it doesn't work, flip-flop. Plenty of fallbacks. Like even Jack said, look, you can get an easy job and flip-flop back onto something easy. There's always an option. It's actually interesting for him to say that, because he had no idea I was just about to ask him a question. But I think about that as, he's got a really good point. I mean, that reiterates the idea that there is always something available for you, which is kind of cool. But I also think about the risks that I took of quitting real estate as a salesperson to do YouTube full-time. I didn't know it would ever turn into what it did today. I feel so blessed and lucky that it did. I really do. And it gave me the opportunities to keep taking risks. And I think that's what happens in life, is you get presented with opportunities and they really create other opportunities. For example, last year I became a financial advisor and signed up for the $500,000 a year risk of running an ETF. That's a lot. That's scary. And it could fail. I'm now literally staking. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. And when I say, hey, I like a certain subsect of stocks, I'm basically committing to that publicly. But I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to take that risk. Like I said, I could always flip-flop. I don't expect I will because, well, first of all, the ETF is doing, well, I don't want to start talking about performance because then I'll get in trouble with the SEC. Go to meetkevin.com and you can see all the information on links to my affiliate programs, my courses on building your wealth, the coupon code, the fact that I'm a licensed real estate agent, licensed financial advisor. This is not personalized financial advice. And you can see a link to my ETF. We'll leave it there for that. But I also started a real estate startup. And myself and my wife borrowed to buy this plane so that we could be the best executives for our real estate startup. Our real estate startup has not paid a single dime towards this plane. Not a single dime. It's all on us. And we're doing that because we really believe in the long-term success of this company. This is not like a, oh, let's, get in, get out kind of thing. It's also really hard to mess up with starting a real estate business because you're buying real assets. The question then is, what can you scale it into? And that's what we're really excited about. But look, getting to the next level and doing all of these things and taking these risks, to me, is enjoyable. But it doesn't mean it has to be for everyone. Let me switch hands for a sec. There we go. Taking risks and thinking about what's next could be as simple as, do we want to have a child? Do we want to invest in stocks? Do we want to buy a rental property? And hopefully the answer to all those things is yes. I mean, I'm not your advisor. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm a big fan of focus on quality and ignore the noise. Look, I'm a big fan of covering news, whether it's the noise of politics or the noise of stocks and all of the uncertainties that happen. But there are always going to be fears and uncertainties, and I've just found it's better to try and flip-flop than to have never tried at all. Now, J.K. Rowling talks about that. You know, it is better to have tried than to have never tried at all. I prefer it's better to try and flip-flop if you don't like it. Because, again, you can always flip-flop back to an easy job. That minimum wage job, you always have a safety net. But in the meantime, you may as well try to go for something. Like Jack. It's like, hey, you can always go to an easy job. Come on, man. Of course there are plenty of opportunities out there. What are you talking about, Dad? But in the meantime, I'm going to go try to do something. I'm going to go make a YouTube channel. We should make a YouTube channel sooner. Jack, you should make a YouTube channel sooner. Yeah. Anyway, you know, I remember being in high school and thinking, man, I wish I asked, or even in middle school, man, I wish I asked more girls out on dates or whatever. And now the first girl that I actually successfully asked out on a date, I ended up marrying and having 2 kids with. Jack happens to be number 1. But, you know, like, people always make fun of me for flip-flopping, but I think the best thing you can do is make a decision. And if it doesn't work out, adjust. It's okay. But not making or taking the leap of faith, I think, is the worst thing to do in life. Because, again, if you reset, it's not that bad. And if you don't reset, things could be really good. Now, one of the crazy things that I'll say is I would say the happiest point in my life is really when I was working minimum wage at Jamba Juice with, like, no responsibilities. The next 10 years were really difficult, really stressful, really hard, a lot of anxiety. Used to have an anxiety problem. So far in 2023, I'm happier than I was then. And I have a lot of responsibilities now, but I don't have anxiety anymore. But I will say, would I go back and not have taken the risks because of the fear of that anxiety? Absolutely not. And I encourage everybody to think about, what can I do to get ahead? Now I'll give you a quick little preview about stocks and real estate. But again, I want you to look out. Look at this. I want you to think about this. Look at this. There is endless opportunity out there. Endless. There is zero shortage. Anybody who tells you there's a shortage of opportunity hasn't tried themselves. So, to wrap this up, let's talk about my thoughts. Do I really care about the inverted yield curve? Do I really care about Taiwan, the dollar crisis, or all these things? No. I will cover it. And people are going to make fun of me every single day for having titles that are a little exciting because somebody's like, oh, the market's going to drop 20%. And I'm like, that's a good title. I'll respond to it because I don't actually think that. I'm going to do that. Maybe I'll flip-flop on that, but I'm going to keep providing value every single day. And that's my goal. Because really, I think we're going to be facing deflation in the next 10 years. And the inverted yield curve is actually inverting more than it historically has. Over the last 20 years, the 2s, 10s trend has been more and more inverted. And I think the reason for that is simple. We're trending towards deflation, but more on that in a different video. When it comes to stocks, though, real estate and investing, I think you can make your life very easy by focusing on quality. Quality stocks, quality pricing power stocks, quality properties, quality real estate. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, but Kevin, I want cash flow. You know, the highest cash flow properties can have the biggest headaches, the absolute biggest headaches. I mean, think about it. The higher the cash flow, likely, you know, the people are like, oh, it's 10 cap or 20 cap or whatever. A lot of these properties are like, dude, you have to collect rent with a gun. You're dealing with hoarders and evictions all the time, and it's a complete disaster and a nightmare. Somehow, you are paying for the pain. Now, for some people, that makes sense, and I'm not trying to bag on that. But in my opinion, I look at it and go, look, if I can't do a Craigslist transaction somewhere at 8 o'clock at night, I don't want to be there. And I certainly don't want to buy there. So, I encourage you to focus on quality. And focus on quality throughout your life. Maybe not for, like, all the little junk that doesn't matter. Like, you don't need the highest quality washing machine or dishwasher or microwave or coffee maker. Get stuff that gets the job done. But when it comes to quality in your career, you don't actually have to move around a lot. You just have to always be thinking to yourself, what's next? What can I do to invest to get to the next level, or advance my career to get to the next level? Those are big goals. And that's a sign we're coming in for a landing, so I think that's time to go. Anyway, look, I wish you all the best. I love you. Thank you so much for being a subscriber, and we'll see you in the next one. Jack, do you want to say bye?
Bye, guys.